What's up everybody? Welcome back to another video talking Worlds 2020. This time around I will be doing my preview for Top Esports versus FNATIC, the third quarterfinals matchup of this World Championship. And this is a brand new matchup. We've never seen these two rosters play each other, so it's really hype. The first two matchups we've seen Damwon Gaming versus DRX and JDG versus Suning were domestic matchups that we've already seen multiple times this year. I think that has a very cool quality to it as well, where you can see the development of the gameplay just between these two teams. But of course, the novelty of a series like this is not to be denied. The only historical quality to this series will be that Jackie Love on Top Esports has already played against the FNATIC roster in 2018 that still had caps. And then obviously Karsa, he's been on numerous teams back in the day, on Flash Wolves, then on RNG, that have already been to international competitions and played FNATIC multiple times. The last time last year, where Bwipo, Nemesis, Reckless, Hylissang have already been on FNATIC. So there are some elements on these two teams that know each other, but the matchup between these two rosters is completely new, so let's dive right into it. In the top lane, we have the matchup of two players that have really deep champion pools. For Bwipo, his most recent picks are the Ornn, the GP, and the Volibear. And for 369, it's the Renekton, the Wukong, and the Ornn. So only the Wukong standing out a little bit. He is definitely falling out of favor in the last couple of weeks. We've not seen him a lot at this World Championship. But below that, both of these players have very big champion pools. Bwipo likes to pull out very off-meta champions. He has played the Cho'Gath, the Urgot, even the Zilean and the Rengar in top lane just in summer. And 369, he also likes to get on these very heavy carry champions like the Cannon, the Jace, even the Quinn and the Kayle. Moving down to the jungle, we have Selfmade, the best player on FNATIC in my opinion, versus Karsa, a seasoned veteran. Selfmade really has two champions that he likes to play in this meta. It's the Graves and it's the Hecarim. But if you move him off those picks, he also has the Evelynn, the Karthus, and a couple of more pocket picks like the Nocturne as well that he can fall back on and surprise you with. Karsa is much more facilitative in his gameplay. In the summer season of this year, his most played champion is actually the Trundle, which is very off-meta. You don't really see players play that champion right now. And his second played is the Lee Sin. Both of them are not in the meta right now, and at this World Championship we've mainly seen him play the Graves and the Nidalee. Crucially, he has no games on Lilia at all, so that champion might just fall through the draft entirely because both teams don't really play it. If it gets picked up, I would expect it to be by Selfmade. I do think Karsa can play it, but why bring it out in a quarterfinals when you have zero professional games on it? And then we move into the mid lane, where I think we have the biggest discrepancy in this matchup. And even in the quarterfinals overall, I would say Knight is maybe the best performing mid laner at this World Championship, and Nemesis, he is maybe the weakest. Knight, let's start with him. He has a champion Ocean. His champion pool is wide and it is deep. He prefers, or his three most picked champions are the Orianna, the Syndra, and the Zoe. But below that, he can just pick up stuff like the Nocturne into the mid lane like he did in the group stage and carry on that too. So FNATIC, I don't think they can really ban him out. I don't think they should try to do that, because the champions you're going to force him onto, it's not like he's not going to be able to carry that. That is only true for FNATIC. I think if you take Nemesis off his best champions, he also thinks that he has some pocket picks. He has shown it in the past where he brought out like the Veigar, the Casio. He likes to bring out the Corki, actually, one of the only players in the world that plays that mid lane right now, or that plays that at all right now. And but it hasn't worked out for FNATIC in the past. His most played champion is the Orianna as well. And I think FNATIC, if that is left open, they should definitely pick that up, or get him the Lucian if that's open. If one of those power picks is open, even the Syndra, he's not the best Syndra player, but the champion definitely gives him the opportunity to have impact. So if that is open, pick that up. The other way around though, this is a very viable strategy for top esports, I think. Ban Nemesis out. Take the Syndra, the Lucian, the Orianna away, and then you're gonna force him onto like a Corki or even a Veigar. And we've seen in the past that very good teams are able to punish heavily for that. Moving down to the bot lane, we have two very well performing bot lanes right now, but very standard bot lanes. Interestingly enough, Reckless really likes his Senna. He has played that by far the most this summer split. And after that, he goes into the Jhin and the Ashe. The Ashe is also the most picked champion for Jackie alongside the Ezreal. And after that, he goes into the Kai'Sa and the Caitlyn. The Kai'Sa not really a meta champion right now, but you also see that Yuyanja, his second played most champion, is the Yuumi. So with Jackie playing the Kai'Sa and the Ezreal, with Yuyanja playing the Yuumi, that makes sense in combination to me. The most played champion for Yuyanja is the Nautilus, by far. It's just such a meta champion. It's so strong right now, so you can almost just pick that up, and Yuyanja does like to do that. And then it's the Thresh, the Tahm Kench, even the Lux and the Leona for Yuyanja. On FNATIC side, Hylissang also mainly plays the standard meta supports of Nautilus, Leona and Thresh. But he has some spicy picks up his sleeve. Mainly is its Pyke that he's kind of known for. And he also can bring out the Rakan and the Bard. I would be a much bigger fan of the Bard. Because both the Rakan and the Pyke, I think, can be punished in lane at the moment, and I think they will by a lane like Jackie and Yuyanja. But the Bard is a stable pick in the meta right now. It would allow Hylissang to get out on the map, impact the mid lane, get self-made activated, and especially if Reckless gets his Senna again, he can also help you in that with his ultimate. When it comes to win conditions for this series, I think we have to start with Knight. He is such a good player, and he's up against one of the weaker players on FNATIC and in the entire tournament. So top esports have a huge advantage in that mid lane. He gives them an advantage in draft, where he can basically not be banned out. He gives them an advantage in the game, where his laning is just so good that he has priority in multiple matchups. And in the team fighting as well, he performs. So really good all-around player. FNATIC will have to do a good job at stabilizing that mid lane, get Nemesis onto a champion that he's comfortable on, that he can get through the lane with, and then have as much impact as he can later on in the game. But I don't think that's the win condition for them. I think their win condition comes from the jungle, from Selfmade. He's their best player. I think he's maybe the only player on their team, maybe Hylissang, who's better than his counterpart. And together with Hilly and Bwipo on playmakers, I think that's very important for FNATIC. They might be able to create situations that are favorable for them. But to do that, I think they will have to realize and accept they are the underdogs coming into this matchup. Realize that, accept that, and then get down and dirty, fight them with guerrilla tactics, get Hylissang maybe on a Pyke, maybe on a Rakan. The Bard is in the meta right now. That's a good playmaker that can get out of lane and have impact. And then have Bwipo on a playmaker as well. And they can facilitate Selfmade to be on a carry and get you wins that way. Because I think the carries in all three roles, in all three lanes for top are superior to their counterparts. 369 is better than Bwipo. Knight is definitely better than Nemesis. And Reckless, he's performing really, really well, but I would still take Jekyllov over him. So I think if Fnatic are gonna win games in this series, they have to make it chaotic. They have to get Hilly out of his lane, bring Bwipo as well. They are the playmakers for you, and when they create a scenario where you are favored, then Selfmade and Reckless can carry you to a win. I think if the game is too standard, the superior players on top esports side are just gonna win out. So you really have to surprise them to take games off them. Thanks for watching. Feel free to discuss this in the comments and on Twitter @esportsidaho, or leave me a like, share this video and subscribe.